I'm conscious.
Now what?
What's going on? What's going on?
Hold it. What you talking about, doctor?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Derek Dunlap here with I'm Conscious. Now what? For a do you see me rubbing my hands, ladies and gentlemen? The heat, the vibration of love, a very, very special edition, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. First of all, I just would like to welcome and thank everyone from all over the world. Some of you are up at 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. We love you. We thank you for your dedication, your will, and your desire. And we have a very, very, very special soul with us today. And we're going to jump right into this one because time is going to be of an essence today. And I want to get so much out of this light being, this beautiful soul. I call it a vibration of love. That's the nickname that I've given her. And all the way from Australia, let's give a warm soul welcome for Ann Dulera of Earth. How are you, sister?
Thank you. I'm honored to be here with you today, Derek. And I just want to say to everyone else out there, I'm honored to connect with you in this space right now. Lots of things are happening in the world, and I think it's important more than ever for us to come forward and create the vibration, a high vibration. So I want to say I'm honored. Thank you so much for the invite, Derek.
It is our pleasure to have you here. And again, I just want to thank you for taking time out your busy schedule. As I just want to tell everybody, you got a book. A very special book. But before we get into the book, because I just love your work, just give us a little bit of your background, your journey, how it all started, how did it click? Just a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, look, I've always been somewhat a little bit different from the rest of the group. So even growing up as a child, even though I had a lot of friends, I just felt different. I thought differently. Things were different with me in the way that I perceived the world. I even noticed the differences with my own immediate family. But it wasn't until I got a little bit older, about 8 years old, 9 years old, that my grandmother started telling me things about the way the world worked, about the universe, and she was slowly grooming me and telling me about how it is to live within this existence. She was I remember her first introduction, actually. I was lying next to her in the bed. She started talking about black holes to me at this age. And of course, I was terrified hearing about the power of black holes and sucking everything within them. And it freaked me out. But slowly and assuredly, it was she that told me about healing capabilities that she had and that had been passed on through the lineage, through me. And even though my mother has the ability as well, she chooses not to invest her life or her time as I have done, living in this type of lifestyle and this existence. So my grandmother was the first one to introduce me to the esoteric, metaphysical way of life. And then obviously things took a real turn when I started having abduction experiences with alien beings, extraterrestrials from from who knows where. And that's when things started to really take a hold, and I really started questioning who I was. So obviously I had this life, and then of course I had my normal life, and then it wasn't until a relationship experience where it really catapulted me into really consciously choosing the life that I wanted to live. So and that's been my progression from there. So the ability has always been there. I'm a natural clairvoyant, psychic. So my grandmother also was this. My grandmother was a healer. And as am I, an empath. And it's just developed, you know, over time, following the ebbs and flows of life.
Incredible. Incredible. Now, you said something that really caught my attention about as a matter of fact, I was just watching a program about, I can't remember the young lady's name, but she was actually abducted, her and her family, by ETs. I noticed that you said something, you had interactions with ETs.
Yes, this is correct.
Do you care to elaborate just a little bit?
Sure. So I guess the first real prolific experience for me, first of all, I took a real strong interest in anything related to aliens, UFO phenomenon. I was obsessed, and I mean obsessed, with tornadoes from about 11 years onwards, and anything to do with Area 51, because this is when things were starting to be published about it, and I was obsessed. I mean, you can ask my family, my obsession with this, anything that I could get my hands on to do with extraterrestrials or aliens, I was obsessed with as a kid. And it wasn't until I was babysitting one night, I was 14 at the time, I was a teenager, you know, perhaps a little bit rebellious, and I kind of put all, you know, my fascination and obsession with the extraterrestrial worlds away and behind me, and pretty much got into all the teenage kind of naughty things you can do. And I didn't really care about the esoteric or the metaphysical teachings or learnings or things that have happened. Anyway, I was babysitting, 14 years old, and for some reason the kids were in the bed and I was sitting on the lounge watching the television, and I just dropped out of consciousness. Next thing I know, I mean, 2 hours later, I'm awake, and I don't even remember being tired, but I woke up and I forgot all about it until I went home and pulled my pants down to notice a tennis ball size blister on the side of my calf muscle, on the side of my leg, and it was all black underneath. And I thought, what the hell is this? I had no idea what this was, and I had socks on, I had trousers on, so it, you know, couldn't have been a spider bite, it couldn't have been a snake bite. I mean, I was inside a house, and of course I showed my mother, and she was just like, oh, this is a cigarette burn, you know. I said, this is ridiculous, look at the size of it, it's not a cigarette burn. And you know, she wasn't trusting of me, and we all knew it was not a cigarette burn. And so I went to the doctors, and the doctor said it was a snake bite. I said, listen, I don't remember being bitten. I would have had other symptoms and reactions, and I was inside a house. No one knew what it was, but the area did not heal. It would not heal. It would not scab for about 6 months, and I had to have this fake skin put on my leg called duoderm or something like that, in order to cover the wound, because it wouldn't heal. So it was after this, about a year or so after this, that I started having the ET recall, the abduction experience of seeing ETs putting something like an implant in the side of my leg in this area. And that's when I started to freak out. That's when things started really changing for me. And it makes sense to me now. The blister that was the size of a tennis ball and all black underneath. I believe this is some type of radiation reaction that the skin had, that it wouldn't heal, and nothing. I don't know what it was, but I feel it had something to do with that. So that was that experience, and then it just kind of came in and out of my life, these abduction experiences. And my parents, who are very straight-laced, very traditional people, started, knowing things happening at nighttime to me, waking up screaming, me not being able to sleep in the dark. I had to have a light on, and in fact, I will say it's probably been only in the past couple of years that I have been able to sleep without a light on in the house.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, what an incredible experience.
That was the first one, but then obviously there were more prominent experiences where I was told information, and I will say that one of the most spectacular encounters I have had was with a man, a Nordic-looking man with golden blonde hair, with these majestic eyes that I won't even try to describe, because I would do it no justice. And the information that he parted to me, this experience changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. And I asked him, I said to him, "Are you abducting me?" And he laughed at me because he found it so comical that I would be so prosaic asking such a question, because in their mind, it's not abduction. It's something agreed upon. And he laughed and he said, "All the time. We're abducting you all the time." Wow. If you want to use the term abduction. So yeah, it's been a lifelong thing.
Wow. If it's not prying too much, because I'm infatuated with extraterrestrials myself. I've never had an encounter with ETs, but if you could now, because I pushed the button a little bit. Can you share a little bit of what this being told you that actually changed your life?
Well, first of all, it was very telepathic. The information, it was the energy that he emanated that gave me the immediate sense that he was someone of grand authority. Grand authority is the only way I could describe him. His authority and the sense of love is something that I have never experienced on this planet since. It was just so profound. And I know there are other people that have had these experiences that absolutely changed their life. And I felt like I was running out of time. And I remember when I was with him, I had the urgency to ask him so many questions. And I immediately asked him, "Where are you from? Where are you from?" And it was all telepathic. And he had said to me, "I come from near a planet. I come from a planet near the star Aldebaran." And I'd never heard of this name. And I remember the next day going on the internet, typing in this photographic memory of this name into Google, and it was a star. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe this place, this star existed. And I know that his words were to me, and whether or not it makes sense, were that he said to me, his exact words were, binary code is the language of the universe. Binary code is the language of the universe. And he did in fact tell me the planet from where he was from, but that's all I can remember. He also told me the name of the planet. I just cannot remember it for the life of me. I have tried to remember it, but I cannot remember it. And it's funny now because I've come to learn that people from the star Aldebaran or around Aldebaran on these planets actually had a hand at making the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I feel like there's a correlation there. There's a connection.
Wow. That's the first. I never heard of that planet. I've never heard of that star either.
Aldebaran.
Aldebaran. I have to look that up. I'm gonna have to get that.
I know people pronounce it as Aldebaran, but the way that he pronounced it to me was Aldebaran. So this, you know, the spelling, I can text you the spelling. Can I do it here?
No, I'll get with you. I'll get with you.
Okay.
We got so much information we want to pull out of you. It's just a blessing to have you here. So
Thank you.
Why are you here? A lot of people ask me, you know, when they feel my energy, and I get a lot of texts, they say, Derek, why are you here? And what's your life purpose? I want to take the time to ask you that question on your journey. Mm-hmm. Why are you here at this time in 2016? And what is your life purpose?
Well, I feel my purpose for being here is the same purpose that everyone has, whether they know it or not. And that is to have the human experience on this planet Earth. Planet Earth right now, we can see, and we all know, it's a tumultuous planet with extreme dichotomies and extreme polarities. You know, we have the extremities of everything in every layer and every level. And so I feel my purpose here on this planet as a human being is to, first of all, live my life to the fullest and to the best example I can be as a human being. I don't want to leave anything out. And second of all, it is to share my experience with other fellow beings on this planet, such as yourself and such as many other people here, to also bring in and anchor this new energy that's bombarding the planet and holding the frequency, helping the planet shift. So, you know, basically creating a marriage between the planet Earth and myself, to help ascension, to help the planet and ourselves and humanity raise. So it is to be of service, to live life to the fullest, and to help others along the way. So that's what I feel my reason for being here is, to have the human experience, and then of course to live and experience this human incarnation with others like yourself.
Great. That's amazing. You know, with this amazing time that we're in right now, and earlier when we first started, I noticed that you said something about having this ability of healing, and a lot of people are feeling the change in their vibration. They're feeling the change in the energy, and there's a lot of different gifts that people are being exposed to. You know, sometimes it's a little scary for some, and there's some that's having a lot of fun in this transition and this energy that's coming through, you know. And I just wanted to ask you how this healing, you know, because how would one know if they have the gift of healing? Just
I guess it varies with different people. I guess it varies with everyone. A lot of people feel that they have tingling sensations or hot hands when they come in contact with someone that needs healing. So, for example, you could be in a supermarket doing your shopping, and suddenly your hands or your forehead or your heart area starts to warm, you start to feel heat. And this could be a signature or a sign that this person coming towards you needs healing. So a lot of the time, people don't even know that they are consciously healing someone just by walking past someone. Because you have to remember that even though we're in the physical body, we have these electromagnetic, electrostatic fields around us that are always moving through and slipping through everyone else's field as well. So even though physically we may not look like we're touching somebody else, our fields are meshing and weaving and slipping through others all the time. And that's why sometimes when people walk into a room and there's someone there that they just don't vibe with, it's because immediately it's like our energetic fields are having a dialogue, and you know, they're having this energetic dialogue, and they may resonate or they may not resonate. So that's why people get the feeling, you know, whether someone feels good or not. It's just a feeling because of the dialogue that our energetic fields are having. So obviously walking past someone is with hot hands or a hot body is one sign that you're a healer. Another, obviously, if you're clairvoyant or you have psychic capabilities, you get audible messages, or you have a sensation that you need to heal someone, or you know, it's so varied. Tingling sensations, or you know, when animals are attracted to being around you, you may attract cats, especially dogs. Any type of energy, because obviously animals are using that extrasensory perception all the time. And so these vary, these symptoms and I guess telltale signs that you are a healer vary with each person. But these are some, I guess, a few little tips of how you can recognize if you are a healer. But everyone, I will say this, everyone is a healer. Everyone has healing capabilities. And like I say in one of my recent videos, are you a healer? We are all cut from the same piece of glass. You know, we all come from the same source. We all have the same tools to be a healer or to be something. We all have the same tools. No one is without. We all have it. So whether or not you feel drawn to becoming a healer is your own discernment. It's your own choice.
Great answer. I have, this is funny that I asked that. I have 6 American bulldogs. I have 150 birds, wild birds.
Oh my goodness.
Probably more. That's just what I've counted. Of 3 which at times will land on my shoulder. I have 6 felines that, you know,
Wow.
me and my wife, we just have the home where it's just nature. 24 hours a day, 365 days out of the year, the birds in the deepest, coldest of the winters. And we've been doing this for 7 years. It sounds like the springtime with the birds because I got 9 bird feeders. So we have these birds. They never leave us. They never leave us.
Wow.
And it was just told to me by a very great soul. I was raking the leaves in the yard a couple days ago. His name's Bubba. I love Bubba. And I had this red cardinal that I became conscious of that was just everywhere I would look, this red cardinal would be there. And I became conscious of this. Like I could be outside and I'll just look up and the cardinal was maybe on a shrub or a ledge, or I'll pull up in the driveway and the cardinal was over the overpath. And this was the first time, now thinking back on this, the first, I would say, animal communicated with telepathy to me, because I knew at this time, I didn't have any bird feeders. I didn't never ever thought about feeding birds. And it was just getting cold. And that cardinal put the thought on my mind to buy bird feed, to start feeding birds. I don't know how it happened. It's kind of hard to explain. I know now because if I speed it up, that cardinal's name is Clyde. And Clyde now is a kind of like a spiritual guide for me. And I'm learning now. Clyde shows up in the etheric realms a lot bigger. And Clyde communicates with me through telepathy. I was looking for him today. He didn't show up today. I was actually trying to pulling him, focusing on him, because it was a beautiful day today. And I was just focusing and sending, my energy. He didn't show up today. So you got me thinking. My hands are hot. The dogs stay all over me. It's my touch. My wife says I have a great touch and my hands are always hot. So maybe you say anybody can do it. Maybe I'm gonna.
Oh, everyone's a healer, but then we forget that animals also heal us. We know when we've had a hard day at work and we immediately feel uplifted when our dog or our cat comes up to us and they're happy to see us and they rub up against us and they're wagging their tails. I mean, they're happy. It's like they never have a bad day in their life. So we have to remember that animals are healing us. And again, it goes back to that marriage. Even when we go out in nature, the trees are there, anchored as banks of energy, waiting to heal us, waiting for us to wrap our arms around them and, immerse ourselves in their healing energy. Like we all heal each other. So nature heals us, animals heal us. It's that marriage. It's that ideal marriage that each thing, each person, each creature heals the other.
So when you say healing, from your perspective, is it just rebalancing energy? Energy's not flowing through that being, right? This touch of healing, are you rebalancing the energy? Are you moving energy around?
Absolutely. This is one of the biggest things, if you are a healer, is to make sure that who you come in contact with that needs to be healed, to make sure that your own protection barriers are up so you are not drained of your healing energy. Because what can happen is if you don't have protection, you may walk into a shopping mall and something simple as walking past a crowd and crowds of people, you can actually be drained of your energy because people, you have such a high resonating energy that people that are out of balance are, clamoring, or at least their energetic fields are clamoring to get a bit of that good energy that's around. So it's important to maintain your own protection when you are working with someone that is wanting your healing. And what happens is when someone is out of balance, basically they, you as the conduit of this energy are helping realign and rebalance someone's energy field that's out of whack. So if you do have an energy field that's out of whack, this is when it can start being identified with physical symptoms such as sickness, I guess mental fatigue. There's so many things, but we do, and a lot of people don't believe it, but I think more now than ever that people are understanding that we create our own sicknesses and our own imbalance.
Give us is it, because I know like all of the food that we're eating now, if you're not, I mean, and I say this a lot, and we actually started this year growing a lot of our own food. We're not where we should be, but I know a lot of the foods that we eat, especially if we go to the grocery stores and you're buying stuff out of cans and things like that, a lot of GMOs are out there now, genetically modified foods. So when you say we make ourselves sick? Are you talking from a perspective of mentally what we're thinking about, the energy that we sit around, or could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So for the most part, yes, mentally we do make ourselves sick, because you could meet someone on the street that smokes, has a real poor diet, but they could be the happiest person on the planet, and sickness just doesn't touch them, even though they're doing all the wrong things diet-wise. Whereas you can meet someone that has done everything by the book, eaten all the right foods, done all the right things. However, if they are out of balance mentally, they can get sick, and die at a young age. So, I think it's important to note that, of course, eating GMO foods or foods that have been tampered with and that are highly processed and just are not, I guess, good for the body in the long run. I mean, obviously, everything is in moderation, but if you are consuming these foods, it's not going to help the situation. So, under the circumstances that we are living with, the foods that we are living with in this day and age, to try and keep your diet as simple as possible, you're going to be better off than most anyway by being a conscious eater. So eating high vibrational foods, meat products are technically or scientifically speaking the most lower vibrating foods. I'm not saying that it's wrong to eat them, but I'm saying that they resonate, or they are resonating or oscillating at a lower frequency, as opposed to something alive, raw, and fresh. And again, I finished watching the documentary done by Leonardo DiCaprio about, I think it's called Before the Flood. It's just such a slap in the face, such a reminder of how much the cattle industry is taking up the land area, and how much carbon emissions or methane emissions are being generated into our atmosphere, and how much of a detrimental effect it is having on global warming. So just making a dietary change by becoming a plant-based person is going to be helping everyone. It's going to be helping yourself, it's going to be helping the world, and it's going to be helping, the planet that we live.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you are vegan. Am I correct?
Yes, sure.
There's someone out there right now that's, they want to make this change, because people, as the energy comes in from the cosmos, it's funny how you just change. You just don't get the desire to do certain things that you used to do, especially if you're practicing meditation, and centering.
Sure.
What would be, if you had to just choose one live raw food to recommend for our audience today, if you had to pick one just to get started with, that they could just go out and grab, what would you choose?
It would have to be bananas, because bananas are pretty much available everywhere in the world. I'm assuming they are, at least for me, because I live in an isolated region. I don't have access to exotic fruits and vegetables, and bananas are easy to digest. They're available all year round. They are full of so much goodness. You can use them and eat them on the run, and they are a perfect meal. All you have to do is peel the skin, and there it is. I eat them religiously throughout my day. I just find them so versatile. You can do whatever you want with them, and they're not so expensive. I find them a staple, especially in the winter, because my variety of fruit is, again, constricted even more in the winter time. So develop a good habit with bananas, because you can put them in smoothies. You can mix them up with all sorts of things. So I would say bananas is a good friend for you.
Okay, great. So I just got so much here, and I want to give the audience out there, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open up the phone lines in just a few. Okay, so make sure you write down your questions, because I already asked our guest today. I said we got a live call-in number to see if she would, feel a certain way, and she said, "Oh my God, they can ask me anything that they want to ask." So and this is great. This is what we want here. We want you to be able to ask certain questions, because you guys know from day one, I never claim to know it all, but what I promised you is from our vibration collectively that we were going to begin to attract these souls that know their purpose, that know why they're here, to help us in our agenda, because we do have an agenda at I'm Conscious Now What. Our agenda is raising the level of consciousness one soul at a time. That's what we're here to do. So speaking of souls, I just wanted to get your perspective, because I hear so many different perspectives. If I asked you, what is the soul, or what is a soul, what would you tell me? What's your perspective on the soul?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I'm feeling like this is one of the misunderstood subjects within metaphysics, because many people believe that the soul is this spiritual organ. It like kind of hangs around the body, like, and it's attached to a silver cord. I mean, that's a nice metaphor, but in all essence, the soul is not something that you have. It is something that you are. And the soul itself is a consolidated mass of electromagnetic energy. So you are a part of that mass. It is a part of you, and you've never been separated from it. So this is what the soul is. It is it's a consolidated, concentrated field of electromagnetic energy, and it's always growing, it's always expanding. It's not a finished product, it's not a finished thing as many people believe it to be, because the soul encourages growth, the soul encourages evolution. Just like the universe is continually expanding, so are we, so is our soul. So this is what the soul essentially is.
Very, very. Meat and potatoes. Where I'm from. Great. I hear so many there. That was very, very well elaborated. So we talked about this also. I just love picking the brains of souls, because you get so many different perspectives, and I just love throwing things off of enlightened individuals. And like I do my I call him my little brother, Ryan Cropper, who helped me start this platform. He's actually writing a book right now. He just got so much going on. He's just finishing his book, just moved.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, he's out there somewhere. I said, take a break, get done what you got to do. I'll hold us down. And, when you sort things out, just pop in and say hi. He's great. I love him to death. I call him my brother from another mother. And we were talking about when we just talk for hours and hours. We just love I just really love his energy. And it's a great topic. And I wanted to bounce this off of you just to see how you will respond to this question, this reincarnation, the reincarnation trap. And a lot of people are talking about this. And a lot of people are saying, don't follow the light when you die, because the light is saying that the light is a holographic image from the moon. The light is a decoy to get you back to this reincarnation process, where they say the lords of karma, I'm just paraphrasing now, of the lords of karma are there, and they show you this quote unquote your life, what you did in this life, and the karma that you have to pay back. And what they're doing is they're coercing you to continuously reincarnate over and over and over and over again. Now, what they're saying is don't follow the light. They're saying return back to the void. Don't follow the light. And I just wanted to bounce that off of you to get your,
Sure.
yeah, the void. And when you get to this void, you can, we're creators, this soul, we are this infinite energy. We are the source. We can just start to create from that void. And that's how we escape this life loop of reincarnation. How do you feel?
So what I'm going to say with regards to this, my answer to this is that, again, it comes back to how you feel on a heart level. So when you die, when you pass, what's essentially happening is that you don't become something else. You don't change. The only thing that is changing is your frequency. You are becoming lighter. You are no longer in a physical shell, which we call the body. So essentially, you're not changing. It's only your frequency that is changing. And again, I'm going to encourage people that when they are on their death journey, if you want to call it that, or their transition journey, it is best to allow your heart to be your compass, to guide you through that passage, through that tunnel. Now, I want to also mention here that there is a lot of stigma about, and there's a lot of fear about, people being told not to follow the light. I will say to people, what I will say to people is this, is that you must follow your heart. And whatever happens in those etheric realms is by agreement as well, because you didn't come into this life because you were forced. There were agreements pre-organized or organized before you incarnated again back onto this earth, because the earth is a learning planet. It's a planet of experimentation and really pushing our boundaries as a spiritual being, as a spiritual essence. So when people are crossing over the threshold, I truly believe if you have no more evolving or no more lessons to learn, you will be then given the opportunity whether or not you choose to incarnate on earth. But let's remember, if you accumulate karma on earth, it needs to be resolved. Let's just say, you explore the theme of acceptance in this life. And let's just say that you're not exploring that theme also well. You're not, I guess, doing the best by how you can explore acceptance. When you die and when you pass over, you are going to have a life review and look at, all the things that you did in your life, how you affected everything around you when you were exploring this theme. And you can choose whether or not you want to go back in the earthly realm and experience it again in another way. And I guess this is where I have the big problem with people on the internet talking about karmic reset, and that committing suicide is a karmic reset. And it really disappoints me that this is expressed on a very public platform, saying that it's okay to commit suicide because it's going to reset your karma. It's going to give you a karmic reset, and nothing could be further from the truth. This will not happen because nothing is cut off. Everything continues even after you pass over, and whatever is left unresolved in this present lifetime will have to be resolved in the next lifetime. So you are basically, whatever you do in this life, you are setting the platform for future or simultaneous existences that are going to occur in the future.
Wow. That law of cause and effect for every cause.
Absolutely.
We just went over that. This is meat and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are getting something out of just to hear from a different perspective, before this broadcast, we were just having an open conversation, and I was telling you about the disclosures in this time. There's just so many disclosures, so many whistleblowers, and with me yearning and just seeking truth, which I've learned everything goes through ego. So I just, and this is just me. I don't like to use the word. You'll very, very rarely hear me say, now this is the truth, because it's coming through my ego. You know what I mean? That's just how I am. So, you know, my dad told me it's anything that you hear, it's only 50% truth, because it's coming through ego. But I was telling you about the cosmic disclosure and how David Wolf and Corey Good, I was sharing some of their content.
You mean David Wilcox?
I'm sorry, David. What did I call him? Corey Wilcox.
Dead.
I laughed too.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
I did a whole show. It was Hurricane Matthew that came through, and the whole show I was calling it Hurricane Michael. And nobody, I looked at the show after in the chat, and one guy, I love you to death, he was like, oh, by the way, it's Hurricane Michael. I mean, it's Hurricane Matthew. But David Wilcock and Corey Good, let me stop this there. Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
The phones are already starting, but we're going to open the phone lines up. Not yet, ladies and gentlemen. Let us get through this, and I promise you'll have her for the duration of the time that we have here. And we were talking about, and I asked you, you know, how did you feel about it? All of the whistleblowers coming out now, all of these different disclosures, the secret space stations. They've been in outer space and on Mars for years and years and years. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about all of these disclosures?
Yeah, I don't blame people feeling confused at this time, because there is so much coming out from so many people, you know, and of course with the power of the internet to use this as a platform to share these cosmic disclosures or these conspiracies or, you know, this information, people cannot discern the difference between what is truth and what is fake. So again, I'm going to ask the people out there to recognize what is truth within your heart. What feels like the truth to you? My truth may not be the truth that you feel for yourself. So first of all, is to recognize the truth that you resonate with. That's the most important thing. So when it comes to a lot of these whistleblowers, first of all, I don't so much look at their credentials, because a lot of their credentials from authentic whistleblowers have had their credentials stripped from them. So if you go looking for credentials and who they may have been working with before, you may not get too far. Obviously, when you start to listen to someone and hear the knowledge that they have, hearing the knowledge about what they're talking about, then, you know, this is a good way to discern whether or not someone obviously knows what they're talking about. However, I will say that there is a lot of information that I'm not buying with what's coming out. And in terms of Corey Good and David Wilcock, like I mentioned to you earlier, I did like the original information, especially written in David Wilcock's book about, I knew he'd done a lot of research into his first initial book. I forgot the name of it for the life of me. I cannot remember it, but I found it interesting. And he had a lot of valid information about evolution and about what's happening in the world. But as far as this information that is being shared by Corey Good, my truth and my instinct is telling me that I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I just don't believe it. I don't resonate with it. I never have, from the moments I have seen Corey Good come up on the internet. And that's just my instinct. You know, I'm obviously, you can believe whatever you want. And if his information resonates with you, then that is your truth. That is your truth. But it's just not my truth. It's just not my truth. And I just do not resonate with anything Corey Good is saying. It's that's it. That's it. So
And you have to
I
respect
just
I totally respect that. And I think
yeah.
what I'm trying to get from you is what is throwing you out of balance. I know you're very, very sensitive to vibration, and you're very telepathic when people speak to you. You know, you have abilities
Yeah.
that a lot of us are just getting there. We're just becoming aware. This is not your first rodeo.
Yeah.
What
Absolutely.
actually rubs you the wrong way with Corey Good?
I just do not believe the information is authentic. I believe it is not. I just do not believe it's authentic. And David Wilcock is a very smart guy. He's very thorough with doing background checks, and in his mind, he says that there is nothing that makes him doubt Corey Good's claim and the information that he gives. But I just cannot agree with David Wilcock on this. There is my feeling, my gut instinct is just simply telling me that this is not authentic. That's all I can really give you as an explanation. I just do not feel it's authentic. It's the information about. I think it's because I've done a lot of research. It's not even based on research, but obviously I know a lot about what's been going on Mars.
Connection problems. Connection problems.
Oh no. Are we good? Are you there?
We're gonna
Uh-oh.
take the time.
Are
Can
we
you hear me
there?
okay?
I'm good. Are you
Angelera?
there? Yeah, I'm here. But your screen's freezing up. Okay, there you go. There you go. You're back now.
If it continues, just
Oh no.
and click the link again, because now you're frozen. We're
Am
gonna
I
take the time. I'm
frozen?
gonna come over.
You're freezing up. Do you want me to hang up and call back?
If
Do
Let
you
me
want
know in
me
the
to
chat if you
hang up?
guys can still
Do you want me to hang up and click the link again?
stream it live. Just type in the chat, I can see you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
And
Are you there? Oh no.
still breaking up.
Okay, I'm gonna click the link.
Let me try.
Are we back? Hello? Are we up? Are you there, Derek? I'm here.
That was very, very weird, ladies and gentlemen. That was very, very weird. I don't have a chat. All of the lights flickered in the house right when we were talking about just weird. And I was able to get it to come back up, and
Are we
there you
on?
we're on.
Yeah, we're back.
That was weird.
What happened? That was so weird.
That was so weird. And you know what? Every time we talk about certain things, something
That was weird.
something
That was weird.
fucking crazy happens. We were talking about that, just an open conversation. I got to strike on the channel about that. Every we go into disclosures and things like that. Boo.
You just got the strike now? Or before? Oh no.
I'm losing you again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. I checked my connection.
I
I've got
can't
a
make out
flawless
what you're saying.
connection. Yeah, I got a flawless connection. My connection, I'm not having issues with my connection. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Are you hearing me?
Still can't make out.
Oh man. Can you hear me now? My connection, if you try opening up another browser, just to check, where is this here?
Microphone sounds like R2D2 on Star Wars. It's a whole nother language.
Oh, can you hear me now?
It's a whole nother language, seriously. And I want to get these calls in, but if they can't.
Oh man. Are you there? Hello?
I am back. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. I've checked my
Wow.
connection. My connection is really good right now. So I'm thinking it might be your end.
It's my end. It's absolutely my end, and everything looks great. It just goes out. So what I'm gonna do, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still with us, I apologize so much. It's never happened like this before, where everything just cuts off. I couldn't even log in for a minute. It's like
But we're
something is
talking
on.
about we're talking about big things here, so it doesn't surprise me.
Exactly. And so we're gonna open up the phones. We're gonna give the audience a
Okay.
chance to call in now because
Okay.
let me see. Let's get these calls going. Let's see. Okay. So we got some people. Let me see. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Hey
Could
there.
you? I can't. You're not coming. We're having a lot of technical issues. I really, really apologize. Could you hang up and call back in for me?
I can hear him. I can hear him, no problem.
You can hear him.
Yeah.
Okay, can caller, you're live on the air.
Hi. Hi, I'm Jenny.
Hey Jenny.
Hey there.
I wanted to ask you about techniques to train energy flowing, energy techniques, so I can experience more directly my own energy and learn to direct it through my body. It would be great if you could share some day-to-day techniques so I could practice it.
So some meditation techniques in order for you to channel your energy in an intentional way. Is that correct?
Yes, so I could cautiously feel, so I have an experience with it.
Okay. So actually, this is a good question. Thank you. I guess to if you're a beginner, sorry, the most important thing that you need to do is focus on your breath. So your breath is connected, and your breath connects you
Experiencing.
to. Hello.
Angela, we are.
I can. Yeah. Oh no. You're frozen again.
Okay,
Caller, can you still hear me?
we are having technical
I can
issues
see you now. You're good
here.
now. You're good now.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
You're good
if
now.
we go back
Oh
off, if it
man.
logs off, we're gonna just call it a night because we're going up against some very, very, very powerful energy here. Because my
I can hear
connection is
you.
perfect. I can't make out what you're saying again. So if we
Okay.
go off
Can you?
again, we'll have to do a part because there's something blocking us. Hey, Jenna, I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm still fighting.
Hello?
You still, can you hear me?
I'm here. I can hear you loud and clear.
I am so sorry. We have major
It's
forces.
okay.
Forces. This has never happened. My mic could go off, but never. I'm just getting kicked off. I got 4 internet connections.
Wow.
We're talking
about some powerful things. That's
about some powerful things. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just hate the show must go on. The show must go on.
We can keep going.
Let's just keep going.
We can keep going.
Just keep going. Okay, so
I'm
gonna call this.
Sorry.
I got a way where I can call people back. Some of the people that we
call
miss.
is forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Okay. I am so sorry. I am going to open up the phone lines again. I've ran my mouth the whole show. So before we're going to open the phone lines again. That's 734-230-2744. Let's rock and roll. The show must go on. If you have questions, we have Andalera of Earth joining us here today, talking about some powerful, positive things. So give us a call.
Do you want me to finish what I was,
yes.
The question that Jenna asked me?
Absolutely. While we got some audio going. Absolutely.
Okay. So for Jenna, if he's still listening, the most important thing, like I said, is to focus on the breath. And because the breath is going to govern the oscillation of your brainwave activity. So the slower you breathe, the slower your brainwave cycles are going to get slower. The slower, if that makes sense. So the slower you breathe, the lower your brainwave cycles are going to be, is what I'm trying to say. So whereas if you were breathing, if you are panting or breathing very shallow, you're going to keep yourself in a high oscillating brainwave frequency. So the key here is to bring your brainwave cycles per second down, because the lower you are in brainwave activity, the more you are able to start to experience extrasensory perception and have information from your higher self, from that expanded awareness to come in and start giving you some dialogue, energetic dialogue. So the slower your brainwave cycle, so I'm talking about a theta brainwave or low alpha, the better off you are going to be. So there are different brainwave cycles, and they are measured by how many times or how frequent the neurons are triggering in the neural pathways of your brain. So that is how they measure brainwave activities, by how many times per second a neuron fires, and that's how they measure it. So the key here is to lower and control your breathing. If you start to feel yourself become anxious or start to feel yourself, I guess, being active, it's important to try and calm yourself down, take deep breaths to lower that brainwave frequency. So the lower it is, the easier it is for you to bring in information. And I like to use the analogous example of being on a boat in a river or on a lake. On a lake is a good example. If you are moving around on the boat, you're going to create ripples and you cannot see the reflection all around you. Whereas if you sit still, you're able to see the reflection of the environment on the water's surface. So it's important to be still, to calm the mind and mind chatter down, and to watch the way you breathe. Okay. Are we still there?
Yes, ma'am. Ginger, I hope that answered your question. I'm so sorry that we lost you on the call. I am going to attempt again to get another caller.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
I can't see you.
You can't see me.
But it's okay.
Hey there.
Hey, what's going on? You're live with Derek and Andelera on I'm Conscious Now What? What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Sam. I'm calling from Lawrenceville, Georgia. I'm originally from Detroit, and my family's from Nigeria.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey there.
You have the
Hi.
platform. Any questions?
I'm really excited to be here. I just wanted to talk about my experience with, I hope this doesn't get us kicked off. I wanted to talk about my experience with reptilians. For the past month, I've been working at a Japanese restaurant, and I came to discover that one of my bosses, her pupils shifted from round to the more cat-like or snake-like pupil, and I started to notice things about her attitude. And I did some reflection on other entities that I've met through friends and family members, and it led me to believe for a second that I was reptilian hybrid because I've seen my mom shapeshift. I've seen my uncle completely disappear out of thin air. I've had close friends who I've met their parents, and I've seen them shapeshift as well. And I've just been studying them. So my question was, do reptilian hybrids, are they educated on their existence? Is there some sort of network of communication? I always believed I was an indigo child. But if my mom shapeshifts, if she brings family members into the house who shapeshift, what exactly does that make me?
Okay, can I answer this?
Absolutely. That's because
Okay, Sam. So just because you have reptilian DNA, because let's just say, for example, that you do, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are of a negative denomination when it comes to your genes, because, you know, reptilians have been given a bad name. Now, if you have ever come across the Lacerta files, it's of a reptilian being that gives and shares information to a man up in the, is it the Swedish woods or somewhere? But anyway, she discloses a lot of information about the truth about reptilians. And frankly, we all know how reptilians have been given a bad name. And according to Lacerta, she says that reptilians, there is a reptilian race on this planet that is actually native. They call themselves native Terrans. They were here long before human beings of this planet were here, or at least were genetically modified here. So she goes on to say that they have been branded with this brush, painted with this brush that makes them and depicts them as evil and negative, when in actual fact they are simply just native to this planet Earth. She goes on to say that there are many reptilian races in existence. Now, this is the thing here, because people put reptilians and any alien race in genetic categories, because if they look a certain way, humans often completely box them and categorize them straight away into this category or compartmentalization, saying if they look reptilian, immediately they're negative, or if they're blonde and blue hair, they're from Orion. Nobody knows, but I will say that reptilians in general are mastered. Hello? Oh no.
just we're losing the broadcast again.
Oh,
So
my
I thank you
goodness.
for calling in.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello, I'm here. Are we on the air still? Are we on the air? Oh, hello. Are we on the air?